Thank God it's Friday. That's the weekend over the Himalayas that you see coming over the Mount St. Catherine. That's the weekend. That's right. That's why Friday is probably one of the favorite, if not the favorite, days of the week. Happy we are to be in the land of the living. I am. You should be too. Special, spicy, fantalocious Friday morning to each and every one of you. Good morning, Grenada, Garrick Baptiste, Martinique. Bless up your whole selves. Trust you had a restful Thursday and you're ready to give 100% on this beautiful Friday morning, June 25th, 2021. Thank you so very much for starting your day off with us here at the GBN. Always a pleasure, always appreciated. Thank you so very much, those of you joining us on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11, and 20. Good morning to all the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9, and all the folks joining us on Party Grenada and Go to Vet Facebook pages. To all our viewers and listeners across the Caribbean, whichever part of the region you are, a spicy Grenadian 473 morning to each and every one of you. And those of you joining us internationally, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hope you will have a good day, are having a good day, have had a good day. Let's get right into this morning's word of the day. French accent, come back. All right, this morning's word of the day is affluent. Affluent. It's spelled A-F-F-L-U-E-N-T. Affluent. It is an adjective which means having an abundance of goods or riches or flowing in abundance. Visualize with us. Coffers overflowing, a cash flow more than adequate, assets that are fluid. The image conjured is the essence of the word affluent. Based on the Latin word which means to flow, affluent is also about flow. The same image is echoed in other descendants of the word such as confluence, fluctuate, fluid, influence, mellifluous, and superfluous. The word affluent entered the English language in the 17th century. That's the word of the day this morning, affluent, A-F-F-L-U-E-N-T, an adjective which means having an abundance of goods or riches, flowing in abundance. An example of the use of the word: many affluent people not impacted by the economic downturn were also quick to donate. Another example of the use of the word: halfway between New York and Philadelphia, it has long attracted affluent professionals, many enduring commutes of more than an hour in return for historic houses. That's the word of the day this morning, affluent, A-F-F-L-U-E-N-T. It's an adjective which means having an abundance of goods or riches or flowing in abundance, or wealthy. Another way of saying wealthy, affluent. Let me see. Well, I have abundance of love. A rich in love from my family. Bless up my whole family. My peeps. Just yesterday, I'm reflecting on the relationship that we have, and we are affluent with love. We full of love, you know. We full of love. I'm grateful for my family. If it's one thing that I'm grateful for, my family, my whole family. Morning, mommy, auntie, cousins, big and small, husband, my daughter, my son, everybody. Bless up all yourselves. All right, we're straight into this morning's word of the, thought. The thought for today. This morning's thought of today is: happiness will never come to those who fail to appreciate what they already have. Big words. Big words. A fantastic thought. Happiness will never come to those who fail to appreciate what they already have. If you fail to appreciate what you already have, you'll always be wanting more. You'll never be happy. You always feel as though you're lacking something, you're missing something, as though things ain't going right because you don't appreciate what you already have. Give thanks, be grateful, send up a word of praise, appreciate it, as small as it may be. There are people that wish they had whatever that small thing is, and they don't have it. Appreciate it. Be grateful for it. Send up a word of praise and a word of thanks, and then you'll start to see more blessings flow. Happiness will never come to those who fail to appreciate what they already have. That's the thought of today. I think I am going to know. Lies. I was going to skip what's celebrated today, but it's an important holiday to me. Today, Timmy, what's going on with you in the back there? Today, it is Leon Day. Leon Day. Leon Day. And here's why I need to celebrate it. Leon Day marks exactly 6 months away from Christmas. Leon is Noel. You know the word Noel for Christmas? Leon is Noel spelled backward and is a day that many come together to start to plan homemade gifts and decorations. With Christmas 6 months away, it is never too early to start to prepare. As a Christmas lover, I'm all for Leon Day. Homemade gifts, decoration. Now it's time to plan what you're giving who and who you're giving what you could do to spice up the thing, make the thing a little different. Today is a good day to start that thinking process. Exactly 6 months away from Christmas 2021. Hold on, let me see. Days to Christmas 2021. We have 183 days to go before Christmas 2021. So set up all this up. Oh, when I say it has 183 days, it didn't sound like a lot at all. Time to start the plan all there. Start the Christmas cleaning and all. Steady. 182 days. 182 days flying, and by the time the 183 day, which is Christmas Day, you realize, but wait now, blossom the time to plan. Why I didn't start since then? Hold on. Don't say I didn't tell all you. Start to plan now. Christmas 2021, one of my favorite times of the year. All right, let's go. Did what's right? So information time. For the residents in Big Parish, St. Andrew, the Ministry of Health will be, after several requests, backed by popular demand, however you want to put it, the vaccination program comes to Grenville today. The vaccination teams will be at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville from 9 to 2 p.m. That's to facilitate those of you in the Big Parish who find it difficult to come down to the stadium or get to the health centers because you have to wait for schedule appointments. You can go to the Deluxe Cinema to get your jabs today between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now, teams will also be in St. David today as well. Vaccinations will be given at Crowshoe, Pedmata, and Westerhall medical stations from 9 to 2 p.m. also today. So St. David and St. Andrew, the vaccination teams are coming to you. They will be at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville, as well as the Crowshoe, Pedmata, and Westerhall medical stations between 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. No appointments necessary. Just walk with a valid photo ID, whether it be your NIS, your driver's license, even your passport. So walk with a valid photo ID and just go get your jabs. You don't have to wait. Just 6 feet distance from in front and behind you, and you can get your vaccine, at least your first or your second shot today. Deluxe Cinema, Crowshoe, Pedmata, Westerhall medical stations, 9 a.m., 2 p.m. today. All right, now let's get ready for the morning edition of news. For those of you on radio, those of you on our visual platforms, it's time for a repeat of last evening's newscast. It's going to be another fantastic Friday. When we come back in just about half an hour, I'm going to announce the winner of GBN's poetry competition. I have some books to give away from one of our local authors. It's going to be a good time when we come back. Stick and stay. Good morning, Grenada. We'll be back in a short while. We're coming back.
Yeah, jump up. This weekend, it's jump up, jump up, and it's jump up, jump up, well, it's jump up, jump up, and it's pop.
One man is left thanking God for life after a narrow escape in the Dabo area near the Kirani James Athletic Stadium Thursday morning. Chrislina John reports.
Escaped without a bruise, one man is left thanking God for life after a narrow escape in the Dabo area near the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Well-known coach Nat Simpson was the man behind the wheel of a vehicle that overturned. One eyewitness recounted what happened Thursday morning.
I met the gentleman on top in the gap. He was turning and he said he wanted to deliver this wash pan. So he gave me the wash pan. He says for Eve. So I tell him, okay, I will go and drop it up for him. And I gone up the hill. Next thing, while I'm on top of I blow the thing turn over. When I run in down and see the van and the ground, I said, I was dead. So I went back and checked him, and he's all right. Everything is okay.
Too shaken to speak to our news crew on camera, Mr. Simpson simply says this morning's experience reminds him of how real God is. He was advised to seek medical attention, although there was no visible signs of injuries. Christina John, GBN News.
An early morning landslide in the St. George Northwest constituency temporarily brought traffic to a halt Thursday morning. Officers within the Ministry of Infrastructure and members of the Royal Grenada Police Force were called to duty to clear the debris, as we hear in this Christina John report.
Here in the Perseverance Brisbane area, where motorists plying the western corridor was brought to an unexpected standstill Thursday morning. This is as a result of a heavy land slippage that has taken place in the area. On scene, we see that the officers attached to the traffic and fire departments are here, steady at work, trying to clear up the debris that has been brought down from the hillside.
It took about 6 hours for the debris to be cleared. Officers attached to the traffic department, as well as road officers attached to the Ministry of Infrastructure, were on hand clearing debris after trees and mud loosened from days of rainfall slide off the hillside. GBN spoke with road officer in charge of the Western District, Kevin George.
We were able to come out here early to have the traffic flow just by cleaning one side, but we are still working on getting the remainder of the slide cleaned. The massive landslide, as we can see, we have a small bobcat operating presently. There is a heavier equipment on the way. We just try using the bobcat to basically keep the road usable for the traffic users here.
Since more slides are likely, George says they are equipped to deal with it.
Because of the heavy rain, some of the loose stuff that are on some of the banks, we expect them to slide. However, we have things in place that whenever it does slide, we try to keep the road cleared at all time, right? Yeah. However, the police was of great assistance this morning too, because by the time I came here, the police had already started clearing the road, and so we just joined them together with the ministry equipment and so, yeah.
Sergeant Adrian Pancho, attached to the fire department, was on the scene.
What I can say notably is that a number of persons were engaged in clearing the road. So persons who would have been coming through with their vehicles would have observed the obstruction and they were already engaged. So when we got here, there was an area that maybe one-way traffic could have flown, right? And thereafter we assisted and we cleared the road a bit more, and then persons from the Ministry of Infrastructure Development arrived on the scene. We had Mr. Kevin George, a road officer within the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, and thereafter they would have contacted a bobcat. From my knowledge, there was no diversion. Most of the vehicles remained lined up, backed up, going back as far as Perseverance area while the clearing was done. And thereafter, once we would have cleared an area that one-way traffic could have, we would have had our officers direct traffic and have the traffic flowing.
The scope of work was estimated to last about 6 hours to be fully cleared.
From the land slippage area in Brisbane, Busheju, I am Christina John for GBN News.
The idea of a paperless judiciary is blossoming fully among countries in the Eastern Caribbean as the e-litigation web portal is being implemented in the OECS member states. We get the details in this report.
The loss of files and equipment due to natural disasters such as hurricanes, to which the OECS member states are prone, will no longer affect the timely administration of justice. This as the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court continues the implementation of an e-litigation web portal whereby judges can access all the documents filed electronically. Chief Justice Dame Janice Pereira highlights that this system is pivotal to connecting all the courts within the member states.
It is critical. It is integral, because unless the public has confidence in the judiciary, in its fairness and in its integrity, that is really what gives it its not only its purpose, it is what gives it its authority. Authority of the courts must come from the people. The
Emperor notes that the court had yet to truly incorporate electronic filing in a fully integrated system. 6 member states have already implemented the e-litigation web portal within their codes.
I think if we have a fully electronic integrated system, it will help us better to manage our filing system. And that will lend itself to better access to justice in itself. And to me, one cannot speak about the administration of justice if the ordinary man doesn't have access to the system.
Chief Justice Pereira says the new system allows for quicker research, retrieval, plus electronic filing and electronic case processing. This new system replaces the Judicial Enforcement Management System, which has currently been in use within all the codes of the OECS member states and territories since the year 2000. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Collaboration between the Royal Grenada Police Force and the St. Paul's Citizens Advisory Board has ignited a drive that will aim to alleviate violent acts amongst young students in primary and secondary schools. Rena Thomas tells us more.
As a way of teaching students about conflict resolution and the serious implication of violent acts, the Royal Grenada Police Force and the St. Paul's Citizens Advisory Body has been conducting a series of class sessions with grade 6 students on several topics. The sessions, which have been running for over 2 weeks at the St. Paul's Model School, are expected to assist the students who will be entering into a new environment as they transition to a new school come September. Judy Benoit, President of the St. Paul's Citizens Advisory Body, spoke of the initiative.
Just after they finished writing the CPA exam, we thought of engaging them because we have heard from the officers that crime and violence and so on, they are moving down into a lower age group and it's making its way into the primary schools. So we thought we would engage them and talk to them about different aspects of community living, crime, violence, respect, all those sorts of things. So we approached the school. There are 2 public schools within our district, this one and the Mongelou School, which we intend to engage starting next week as well. And they gladly accepted.
Woman Constable Shireen Ford of the St. Paul's Police Station says the initiative will expand to other schools across the island.
There are plans for other units outside of and inside of the RGPF to meet with these children and other children in the community so that we'll have a better grasp on crime and violence and that they will have a better grasp on conflict resolution and other matters that would affect them now and in the future. We have plans to have the Special Victims Unit of the RGPF come in and have discussion on sexually related crimes and family issues so that the children would know that there's an outlet or there's an avenue that they can speak to or persons they can speak with to help them in whatever problem they have that may be affecting them directly or indirectly.
Jordan Wilkinson, Jada Stevens and Trevor Woodruff told the news team how they think the session will help them as they start their new journey.
Like as I am going into secondary school and they're older than me, way older than me, from different backgrounds, and they'll be coming with different stuff, telling me about different stuff and things, to not accept the bad ones and to accept the good ones. I would see if I could solve it on my own, or if I can't and they just don't seem to come to an agreement, I will go to my teacher and tell her about it.
Well, if you're violent and think you're going to be arrested and charged,
that violence is not the answer, and about the roles and responsibilities that we are responsible for.
The students also heard from representatives from the Grenada National Council of the Disabled, who educated them on how violence can lead to temporary or permanent disabilities. For GBN News, I am Rena Thomas reporting.
In checkups, it also notes the tendency among men to delay seeing a healthcare provider for symptoms of a health problem. Krista Campbell zeroes in on this in tonight's GBN Health segment.
When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grenada.
Father's Day was celebrated by many on Sunday, June 22nd, 2021. Every year, that special day is set aside to recognize the invaluable contributions made by men and to highlight the important role played by fathers. But what about their health and well-being? If you think about any male figure in your life, does he always seem to be dodging the doctor? We discussed this concern with nutritionist Akim Williams.
This entire concept about men not wanting to seek medical attention and really take charge of their health has posed a significant problem. If it is that we were to do a study and we were to look really in depth, we will see that this concept of the stigmas play a really fundamental role. And we really have to take a conscious decision and a conscious effort collectively as a nation, to really push and encourage our men and to really to shift that stigma by educating.
Nutritionist Williams is among healthcare providers who are making strides where men's health is concerned. He creates nutritious food tutorials in an attempt to encourage men to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Take a look.
One of the focal areas of this video today is vegetables. Oftentimes, as I said earlier in the video, when we cook, usually we tend to not pay so much attention to our vegetables. We spend a lot of areas on starches, our protein, which is our meat, chicken, or maybe some peas and beans. And oftentimes, our vegetables are those foods that contain those really essential nutrients that we need to help those macronutrients function.
The Silver River United Fathers organization, which is based in St. Mark, is also doing their part where men's health is concerned. The members commemorated the organization's one-year milestone with a forum on eating healthy foods. During the session, the men were encouraged to place priority on their health and well-being. The Silver River coordinators told GBN that they embarked upon that campaign to highlight to men being excellent fathers and good role models to society starts with eating well. Krista Campbell, GBN News.
From the more academic professions such as teachers, archaeologists, and scientists to vocations such as trained engineers, photographers, and chefs, the students of the Green Street Pre-Primary School were adorned in their respective uniforms as they observed Career Day on Thursday.
As the Trinity term comes to an end, it spells the beginning of a new journey for some students and the continuation for others, but most importantly, a glimpse into the future and its possibilities. The students of the Green Street Pre-Primary School were segregated into different groups in accordance with their chosen profession.
I am a teacher and I teach children.
What are you going to be?
A trained engineer.
A trained engineer?
I'm an archaeologist.
Okay. And what does an archaeologist do?
I look for bugs.
You look for bugs? Do you look for any bones also?
I look for bones too.
The largest group of students covered the medical field, as a number of students are aspiring to become doctors, dentists, and nurses. Medical Dr. Ali Jaigo was present to tell the future medical practitioners about the different types of doctors.
Now, I am a doctor, all right? There are doctors in many things, all right? There are doctors for people, there are doctors for animals, all right? There are persons that have doctorates in different subjects like this, and so on. But I'm a person, I'm a human doctor, all right? I'm a doctor for people, all right?
He also showed the students how to properly use a stethoscope.
So I'll take that and I will place that over my patient's heart. May I use you? What's your name, scientist?
My name is Akim Francis Peters.
Akim Francis Peters. So we're going to listen to Akim's heart. Of course, in a better environment, we'll probably allow him to take off his top. But now we'll just place it where his heart is supposed to be. And we're going to listen. Now there must be quiet all around, all right? So you must hear properly to know if the heart is sounding okay, all right? And you guys will listen to what the heart is like in a little bit.
Another classroom was targeted specifically for construction.
I want to be a builder.
A builder? How about you?
I'm a tractor man. I like to build house and home and steps I like to build castles.
Cooks and chefs were busy preparing different cuisines in the final room GBN visited, and teacher Lucy says both the 3+ and 4+ were involved.
So in this class we have 5 persons being cook or chef. So today they chat about what they're cooking, and we reinforce the fact that if you want to use that as a career, then you have to think about making money, because one of them did say that they're going to share away their food. So we chat about using it as a job in the future.
Health, hygiene and safety in the kitchen were enforced for the cooks and chefs, while other basic knowledge was shared with the students about their desired careers. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Discipline is often equated with punishment and control. There is a great deal of controversy about the appropriate ways to discipline children, and some parents are often confused about effective ways to set limits and instill self-control in their child. Krista Campbell tells us more.
I remember, especially with a boy, I visit the school very often. In fact, there was once I was so mad because he wasn't behaving. I went to the school, they let me in the class, I pull his pants down and I give him some good spanking in front of the class and the teacher. Wow. No, I'm not recommending that to anybody. And so those of you who are watching me, don't try that with your children, because you might just spend some nights in prison, all right?
How do you discipline your child or children? Do you use timeouts? Or do you use physical punishment? Single father Cleveland Sam shared his perspective on discipline on GBN's Beyond the Headlines program.
In today's society, society wants to tell you that you can't hit your child. It's physical abuse, but I grew up with a grandmother, as I said, and I didn't feel as if I was physically abused, and I got a lot of lashes. So I see it really as a discipline rather than punishment.
But what about the daughter or son being disciplined? How do they feel when punished? Kyle Sylvester recounted the various disciplinary actions that his father employed and how he felt about these methods.
My dad, because of he disciplined me in more than one way, not just the physical way with the lashes, but there was like there was different methods that I used, like not making me go, not allowing me to go to the school fair or something. At first, I wasn't happy about it, but as I grew older, I kind of like appreciated it. And to the young viewers who are watching this, sometimes your parent might do something that you don't like. In the present time, you wouldn't like it, but as time goes along and as you grow older, you tend to like appreciate it and tend to understand.
Although there are numerous contentions on the effectiveness of various disciplinary measures, Cleveland Sam noted that the end goal of discipline is behavioral change.
I think very often we need to see this as a means of discipline and rebuke. And the idea is to try and change behavior. It's not to punish, it's really to change behavior. And sometimes I wonder if I get to my son, especially the younger one, with some of these disciplinary actions, because the behavior seems to be repeated. So you see this? That is one of the biggest weapons I have in my arsenal as a parent, right? When things happen, I just take that for a few days.
The Beyond the Headlines program will dissect more pertinent issues like this next Monday at 8:35 p.m. Krista Campbell, GBN News.
And now we turn our attention to what has been creating a buzz on social media. Let's take a look around the platforms.
This is Social Buzz, where we shine a light on the thoughts and concerns of our online audience.
On Wednesday night, GBN aired a report which saw a haul of offensive weapons confiscated by police officers of the Eastern Division from busmen servicing the area. Some bus operators will face charges as a result of the operation.
Believed that public transports were being used in a manner that was not conducive to what we would call good service in the sense that people were being placed at risk and people were in fear that some things could happen. And this emanated out of a situation where a video circulated where we saw the behavior of some of these bus drivers and conductors, the way they conducted themselves, and it is believed that they were armed with offensive weapons.
Viewers and listeners took to the comment section to express their views on the latest police operation. Rondell said, "I am not against them doing spot checks because I saw it coming after the video circulated. But why can't we count on the powers that be to be very assertive in fixing the road too? That's what needed attention urgently. It does not have to be on social media for you to see it. All the money y'all making in the name of COVID could help fix the road." Carlin says scissors in the case of an accident and he is trapped or a passenger in the front is trapped, a screwdriver to change whatever screw, cutlass to go in the garden or to go, and knife in replacement of the scissors in case of accident. People walk on the street with these every day, so why can't people have it in their vehicles? Jacinta added, "Listen, people go home late. When we are in trouble, we can't rely on the police. Vehicles are always unavailable. Some roads don't even have proper lighting. And these people always have cash. Their life is in danger of robbery. Take that into consideration." Rochelle said, "So if by chance one of these weapons was used to cause harm to someone, then people would say, what are they doing with that on their buses? Prevention is better than cure." This person says, "Okay, so let me ask this question. If a bus driver going home late and he's approached by robbers, how will he protect himself? Just as how we want the farmers to have a gun to protect his or her land, etc., etc. Let the busman get some form of protection as well."
That's it for tonight. From the thought process to the visual impact, it's time to take a peek through the GBN ISO lens.
You may find tonight's ISO a bit hilarious or even relatable. One can only wonder what was going through the mind of this canine when it emptied the contents of its feeding bowl to use the bowl as a bed instead. The food is seen scattered across the floor while the dog lies comfortably in the bowl. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
I'm reaching my dreams with GOT. They're the ones for me. I'm reaching my dreams with GOT. They're the ones for me. Since 1983, they've been serving the country, and we like all their financing, giving the people what they want, what they need, what they love. Come and join the family that's here for you all the way. From birth to graduation, your first job to your home and your car through your golden years.
The GT Credit Union has been actively supporting nation building through its many sponsorships and programs including Financial Literacy Quiz, Pass the Torch Calypso Program, Junior Cooperatives in Secondary Schools, CPEA, and the TAMCC Grants. The Credit Union has helped many people make their dreams come true. Let them help you with yours. You don't have to be a teacher to be a member. So what are you waiting for?
GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
Hello all! Look out for the live virtual release and premiere screening of recording artist Dion Blazes' Coochie Dongo. a new Afrobeat single. It'll be a 1-hour presentation featuring the release and the premiere screening of Kuchidongo, the new Afrobeat single from Dion Blaze. It's this Sunday, June 27th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The event will also include congratulatory remarks, reviews, and big ups from other popular artists and entertainment media. It's hosted by yours truly, Harold Paisity. You can view it all on dionblaze.com, riderslive.com, Ride Along Live on Facebook, Ride Along on Twitter, Ride Along on YouTube, and on Afterwork Networking Wednesdays, ANW on Facebook.
Understanding our ocean is education for life. Encourage your students to learn about marine life, water quality, sea level rise. Let them explore sciences. Encourage them through field trips and scholarships. The more they know, the better they can protect our oceans from litter and climate change. Let them rise to the challenge. The ocean is our responsibility, their inheritance, their future.
This message brought to you by the OECS Commission with funding from the government of Norway. Remlit, tackling ocean pollution from turf to surf.
Once upon a time, we shopped at Wonderland, then Neverland. But we're all grown up now and no longer believe in fairy tales. So now we just shop at Shoes R Us. At Shoes R Us, we stock the latest in shoes, tops, and jeans for the fashion-conscious lady. We also carry colognes and much, much more. And for the modern trendy male, we have the latest brand name shoes and sneakers, Converse, Reebok, Nike, K-Swiss, Puma, and much more. So check us out at our two convenient locations, Melville Street in St. George and Ben Jones Street in Granville. At Shoes R Us, we say, come shop with us.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 for 18-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Foliage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Montreal, it's time to line virtually one more time. Gemma Rayburn Baines here for Spice Island Cultural Festival, a celebration of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This summer's festival is a celebration of life with food, fashion, music, and culture. Join us online Saturday, July 10th, 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube at Spice Island Cultural Festival. Info, spiceislandculturalday.com.
Get Rubicast. Get
cooking. Ruby Gas, clean, safe, and reliable LPG is the perfect solution for your commercial and everyday needs. For cooking at home or barbecuing, choose Ruby Gas LPG cylinders. Available in a variety of sizes from 20 to 100 pound cylinders. Ruby Gas LPG, clean, safe, reliable. Are you cooking with Ruby Gas?
Get Ruby's, get going.
Bruv. Hello? I can't see you. What's good? But I can't even hear you. Yo. Hello? Hello? Ah.
Okay, I see. I'm good. I'm coming in.
Ah. There you are.
Live the experience right now. Enjoy high-quality video calling today. Stream, upload, and share with Digicel super fast LTE network. Visit our stores today and live the experience today. Digicel.
Trends come and go, but jewelry is forever in style. Give a gift that lasts a lifetime. Diamond Intercontinental have diamond jewelry, gold and silver jewelries, engagement rings, wedding bands, chains, bracelets, and so much more. They also carry brands such as Anne Klein and Guess. Why wait? Visit Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store at the Esplanade Mall. Call 440-231234. The number again, 232-1234.
Introducing Color by Seasons. 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 Color by Seasons.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements? Or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Montreal, it's time to line virtually one more time. Gemma Rayburn Baines here for Spice Island Cultural Festival, a celebration of Grenada, Carrick, and Petit Martini. This summer's festival is a celebration of life with food, fashion, music, and culture. Join us online Saturday, July 10th, 3 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube at Spice Island Cultural Festival. Info, spiceislandculturalday.com.
Services, bill payment, revenue collections. It's the official opening, NOASA's Lucas Street headquarters.
Come, we are excited to serve you.
NOASA, committed to meeting customers' needs.
welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It is now 20 and a half. No. We could call it 21 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. It is Friday, so it's time for us to head into the showroom, where we feature our local Grenadian talent and share with you all the good works they have been doing, are doing, will continue to do. And this morning we're heading into the realm of, how I should put it, boy, into a form of art that I am in love with. The form of art known as writing, and which benefits me because I am a reader. We are going into, I will give all you a new word today, authorship. Authorship. That's what we'll be doing for the next few weeks, featuring some of our local authors. And this morning we are starting with a former Spanish teacher of mine at the T.A. Marisho Community College, Mr. Ambrose Philip. Good morning, Gloss. Mr. David Ambrose. Where I get this Ambrose Philip for? Good morning, Mr. Philip. Mr. Philip in my mind this morning. Good morning, Mr. David Ambrose. And how are you, sir?
Good morning, or should I say buenos dias? I am doing well.
Buenos dias, senor. Let me show off like a Spanish I could remember.
Buenos dias. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you for being with us. I know it is early hours for you, so I very much appreciate your appearance here this morning. This morning's interview as well would coincide with the announcement of the winner of Grenada's recently held poetry competition on our Facebook page, and we are expected to be joined by the winner in just about 25 minutes or so this morning. We want you to see who the winner will be. But first, let us speak with Mr. Ambrose, as he is the author of one of the prizes that we will be giving to our winner as well as two other finalists. This one is called That Time in Bogles. But before we get to That Time in Bogles, we're going to look at your career in its entirety, or as much as we can during the time allotted. So, Mr. Ambrose, take me back to early o'clock, when you just started and you thought, maybe I should put pen to paper and write a book. How did that thought process come about?
Let's see. You would have to go way back. Not that I'm that old, but I think I wanted to write or publish a book since my days of secondary school, since my days at GBSS. I've always loved reading, and when you read a lot, the idea comes up that, hey, I could do that too. So even from the days at GBSS, I would read books, and we used to read a lot of books. My peers, my schoolmates, and I would read books and exchange and have an informal book club, so to speak. And so I used to wonder, well, how is it we have all of these authors, but nobody from Grenada? So maybe we should change that. At the time, I didn't know about people like a Jacob Ross and the other Grenadians out there since the 70s and 80s who write or who publish. Fast forward to college. I attended college in the United States, and that was when it really got on my mind that I have to publish. People would ask me, so what do you want to do after college? I would tell them, write a book. And they would be surprised, because they would think that I would come up with some other answer. But I did not start to write seriously with the thought of publishing in mind until 2011 or 2012, when I started to pen White Spice. Note though that I had the title White Spice since my days of college. I knew what the title of my book was going to be since the 90s when I was in college. But I said, hey, time to start this White Spice. So I started in 2011. I wrote straight for about a year or two. Then because of my job, I work full-time at MCC. Because of my job, I got so busy, I had to forget about this writing thing for about a year, and then got back to it. Took breaks here and there based on how busy I became at work. And then in 2015, I finally said, hey, I'm at the end of the story, at least this episode. And so I pressed enter on August 15th, 2015 to say publish. And then it was published on Amazon. And later on, I got copies here in Grenada. So that was the first book. And then people kept telling me, like my colleagues at times, they say, hey, you know, this, you wouldn't stop at White Spice. I'm thinking, yeah, right, that's my only book, man. Way afterwards, I'm thinking, nah, but I have to write another book. And so the Bogle story came up. And Bogle's actually started as a short story, a bona fide short story. But I expanded it. And eventually it turned into a novella, a little book as you see, as you have in your hand. And so on June 18th, I just commemorated the anniversary a few days ago. June 18, 2018, that was when I published That Time in Bogles. I went in a totally different direction from White Spice in terms of genre. White Spice is crime fiction, and Bogles is cultural / historical fiction set in Garrick Baptiste character. And I thought, hey, 2 books, that's great, that's enough. I'm busy. Next thing you know, I'm publishing a short story called Zone 1 in 2019. So those are my 3 so far.
And I love that you're saying so far. That means there's more to come from Mr. Ambrose. So that makes me feel good. So taking your education, your school life, your love for books, putting it into the pages of your own publication, did it come easy for you to write? Taking into consideration that you love to read and putting it into pen and paper. No matter how long it took, I remember you said it took you a little, maybe 2 years or so. Was it easy, or is it just that I didn't have time? No, I think
it more had to do with time and time management, because, like I said, I work full time. It is very challenging to have a full-time job and to try to write regularly, consistently. So that in itself was a challenge, or is a challenge, continues to be a challenge. Like, I've been working on a sequel to White Spice for a while now, and I suppose it's getting to the end, but it's been a while because of time. So in addition to being a lecturer at the college, I'm also the chair of a department. So I have to balance lecturing, admin work, and writing and other things. So it takes a while. But apart from that, you do have to do your research when you're writing stories, even if it's fiction. So I've had to conduct a lot of research for White Spice, and even for That Time in Bogles, I've had to do some research. Bogles takes place in Garrick, and even though it's the village of my mom is from Garrick, and I could speak with her about how things work in Bogles and Garrick, some cultural events or how they take place. I could speak with my cousins and things like that. That involved quite a bit of research, call people, visit people, check people, and so on. Even with Zone 1, even though it's a short story, and Zone 1 is set in Zone 1, Grandad's. So that I had to do some research as well. Speak to police officers, or go to Zone 1 myself and observe, shoot videos, take pictures, study, and take notes and things like that, analyze it. So before I write even that short story. So it does take time. People might say, well, it's only a short story that should take about a day or a week. That's possible. But balancing all of those things.
Mr. Ambrose, I'm getting a little noise, maybe a fan. You have a fan blowing?
Oh, yes.
It just distorting the audio a little bit. You maybe could turn it a little bit so it won't be in the mic.
Okay.
On your headset.
Right.
Okay, no problem. For those of you who are just joining us, we are speaking with a Grenadian author, Mr. David Ambrose, and this morning we will be revealing the winner of GBN's recently held poetry competition on our Facebook page. He will join us in just about 15 minutes or so. So let's get back to Mr. Ambrose. So Mr. Ambrose, with those books that you have written, I know that the Grenadian population of authors is not a large group of you, but I to me it's like a family, because when you see one, you see all. When there's a festival, it's not just one author, you're seeing most of them, everybody coming together, at least with excerpts of their books. So speak to me about how everybody coming together in one group as one family as authors, how has that helped encourage other people to join the family, as well as how has that inspired you as an author?
Just one modification to your statement, though. There are a lot of Canadian authors. But I think you're referring to just the people in my circle, but there are a lot. I recently compiled a list and shared with the Ministry of Education. I think that list had maybe close to 80 names or titles, over 100 titles, maybe about 80 names.
Wow!
And
nice.
then somebody else shared a list with me. And that list goes back to before 1900, so even way before independence, and it came all the way up to 2015, and that had a lot of names. So there are a lot of Canadian authors, not just on Ireland but around the world. But within my circle, there are a few of us who move around together. We hold book events. We call ourselves Grenadian published authors. And so we've been holding pop-up book events, pop-up book sales at the end of every month. So we had one at the end of January, at the end of February, at the end of March. April month end was kind of strange, so we skipped that. And the last one we had was in May, end of May in Grenville. And we're going to have one at the end of June, which the Saturday after payday will be July the 3rd. So we're going to have one on July the 3rd. And what we do, we get together, we go to a site, probably set up a tent, and we just showcase our work, sell our work, let people know Grenadians publish. And a lot of people are surprised that Grenadians actually publish. They will come up to us, whoever they're speaking to at the tent, at the booth, and say, "Hey, wait, you write this?" And they would look at the person, "You write this? But you look so simple here." So we were thinking, how should we look, But we want to promote the Grenadian authors in general. The people who move in my circle, we're all into creative writing. So that's the distinction between our group and everybody else in general, all the other writers in general. So we either write novels or stories or poetry. There are a few poets, a few of us who have published poetry. I don't publish poetry, but so we get together. We have these events. We're hoping that eventually, we could get into setting up a book fair, like you have in other Caribbean territories, like Trinidad. Jamaica has a couple of book fairs. Anguilla has a book fair. Grenada doesn't have a book fair. Cuba, St. Martin book fair is pretty popular around the world. So things along those lines we'd like to get into as a group. And over the last, what are we in 2021? So perhaps since about 2014, 15, a lot of books have been published and more people are getting into writing. And it's relatively easier now because of the popularity of independent publishing. So people could self-publish. I self-publish, a lot of people self-publish. And so people are always checking me out of the blue. A number would pop up and say, I'm thinking about publishing a book. What do I do? And somebody would call, I need some advice on this and that and so on. So we're always, as authors, we're always open to assist people or share our stories. We're not experts, so we can only share our experiences, and people could learn from our mistakes and perhaps do better in terms of the whole publishing process and things like that.
That was going to be my next question in terms of publishing. How challenging is it prior to self-publishing, how challenging is it to have your books published? I know that you are self-publishing. Some of our authors, other authors do the same. What sort of challenge does that pose? Or is it better to self-publish than, publishing or using a publishing company outside of Grenada?
Yeah, I think it's the self-publishing part gives us more control of our work, or perhaps total control, I should say. Because I publish my own work and my own books, I could set my own prices. I could make changes when necessary, when I want. And perhaps the biggest challenge, though, is marketing. We have to market our books ourselves. With traditional publishing, we'd have to push our book to that publisher, and that whole process in itself could be quite long. Before we come on the scene, before we come out to a traditional publisher, hardly anybody, or if anybody at all, knows who we are as a writer, as an author. So we'd have to really get some sort of break to be recognized by a traditional publisher and say, hey, that person's work is really good, let's take that on. And it could take a while even for that traditional publisher to get the work out. Whereas with the self-publishing, I believe, based on the individual's timetable, the individual could churn it out in a year, a few months, whatever. So time is an issue too. You never want to be impatient when you're publishing, though, even if you're self-publishing. You work on the whole process in terms of the editing, the revising, and all of that. Not try to hurry it up and get it out there, so that you at the end of it all, you put out a good product. People will be willing to read your work, or the next one, because you're quite careful in how you present your work. Presentation is everything. People want to make sure that the format is friendly, the font size, the spacing, all kind of thing, cover and all of that. The blog, it has to be friendly to the eyes and attractive to the reader as well. So I think for the time being, I'm going to continue with self-publishing. And another thing that could get a writer recognized is if the writer participates in writing contests. We have short story contests all over the place. A big one is the Commonwealth Short Story Contests. I think this week, the prize giving ceremony, either it has gone or maybe it's today. But anyway, I think it's this week. But that's for people all over the Commonwealth, professional as well as people who have an interest in writing. And suppose one day somebody from Grenada submits a story, and it becomes the regional winner or the overall winner. That person gets instant recognition, and then you might find big name publishers trying to find that person. That's how you get recognized.
You have written your very first one, White Spice. You call it more of mystery, fictional
crime fiction.
Right.
Yes.
A Time in Bogles is more cultural, of course, based in Carriacou. Your most recent one, 2019, was a short story. So to me, that's three different genres. From your point of view, as well as conversations with your author friends and family, which genre do you think has garnered most interest from Grenadians? Let's zero in on home. From Grenadians.
Yeah, it's a toss-up between White Spice and That Time in Bogles. I suppose it depends on what the person feels like reading. Because White Spice, like you said, is more adventurous, lots of action. It's crime, and people like a nice crime story. That's why, in fact, that was why I got into White Spice. I said, hey, people like crime, TV shows, movies that are crime-based. So maybe I should write something that has criminal activity in it, or about criminal activity. Generally speaking, Grenada does not have a big record with respect to crime, but they create a few things and then put a disclaimer or a special note saying, hey, Grenada is not a crime-riddled country. This is a work of fiction, so don't take this seriously. But people love the White Spice story because of that. I spoke to a gentleman yesterday, and he said his wife is reading it right now, and she's really into it. And a lot of people like it because they can relate to the places that I mentioned in the story. I've fictionalized a few settings, but there are places that I've named in Grenada in the book. In fact, Grenada itself. Some people use fictional countries, but I just decided to use Grenada. Hey, I'm Grenadian. I'm going to use Grenada. That time in Vogels is not necessary. In fact, that time in Vogels is educational. It's very educational. You can learn a lot from it as a reader, because we're talking here about the culture of the people of Carrick and Martinique, but Carrick in particular. And so people could learn about the cultural practices. Just looking at the cover, people could just start asking questions. You see some dancers there, some string band musicians in the background providing music to those dancers. And so any reader would be able to learn about things like the traditional wedding activities or stone feast, how it is in Carrick in the dry season when people have to travel far, perhaps, to get water. And the story is set in 1982, I think, in the early 1980s. So the infrastructure wasn't as it is today. And I was just in Carrick at the beginning of this month, so I could do a kind of recent comparison.
So having dipped your feet in mystery, in let's say a Grenadian centered, in a short story, your fourth publication, that's the hint that there needs to be a fourth. Your fourth publication, is there a genre that you want to tackle or one that you want to visit more than the others? Revisit.
Yeah, totally different. Okay, I'm going to revisit the white spice genre. I've been working on a sequel for a while. Imagine 2021 is almost over. Wow. So perhaps at the end of 2021, I might press the button to publish that sequel to White Spice. I'm not going to call it White Spice 2, obviously. That's kind of tacky, but to come up with some sort of creative name to creative title. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the original genre and see what happens with that. But then I might have to also follow the same sequence and go back, following that genre, go back to the second genre, i.e. a sequel to That Time in Vogels. So people are always asking for things. I don't know if I could meet their needs, but we'll see how that works out.
What are your thoughts on Grenadians' response to books written by local authors?
A lot of people are happy that Grenadians are publishing. When they come to our tables at our booths, when we hold these pop-up events, then they see that spread, because it's not just my 3 titles. You could have as many as 15 titles on the table. So they see that spread and they're shocked. Wait, all these books written by Grenadians? You're serious? Nah, you're joking. And we would have to convince them, probably pull out ID or something, but somehow we have to convince them that Grenadians wrote these books. And then they will jump at, well, how come these books not in school? Nah, all they have to put them books in school, right? We're saying, but really it's not up to us, but the books are here. We have books. And then they look at us, they'll read a book, the blurb at the back, and then they read about the author, and then they're looking surprised. Huh? That's you? You wrote this book? Nah, boy, I can't believe you wrote this book. And those kind of reactions we get all the time. And then they might start, some people will start a long discussion about our Grenadian books not being in schools, or the library is not active, otherwise our books would have been in there, or they can't find our books in stores and things like that. So the people are happy. They're really happy that Grenadians are publishing. They want to get books for the children. Grenadians from abroad would come, and they have children who are not Grenadians, who were not born in Grenada, but they would like the children to know about Grenada. So they might get books for them, for those children who are not born in Grenada. And so we're always pleasantly surprised And we're always amused, really, that people would react in so many different ways. So I know when we have our next pop-up in Camahan Park on July 3rd, people are going to be surprised. A lot of people have read our works, but still a lot of people have not encountered a Grenadian book yet. So so many opportunities to get a book. And we're trying to make access easier to get a Grenadian authored book.
Mr. Ambrose, let's take a break and then we're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the winner of GBN's recently held poetry competition. This is the showroom on Good Morning Grenada. We will be right back.
Get vaxxed, hey, hey, vaccinated. Get vaxxed, hey, hey, get vaccinated. Vaccinated. So wear your mask, wash your hands, and practice social distance. This is we chance to advance. Come let we fight this COVID at once. So come on, let we fall in line. We want to come back to with social life. There is vaccination island wide. So come on, let we fight it to protect we and we family.
This is a message from the Grenada Red Cross and the Ministry of Health.
Do what you wanna do, go where you wanna go. Get boobies, get going, get boobies, get going, get boobies, get going, get boobies, get going.
State-of-the-art Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada, the showroom on Good Morning Grenada featuring our local talent. This morning we were speaking with local author Mr. David Ambrose, and at this moment we are joined by the winner of GBN's recently held poetry competition. It was about 3 weeks ago that we launched the poetry competition. We posted 2 photos on our Facebook page, and our friends were asked to write 4 lines of poetry that they got from the pictures, and following an extensive judging process, which also included votes from our viewers and listeners, as well as Mr. Ambrose was part of the judging panel. We have determined, or the judges, I should say, not we, Adinde. The judges have determined that the winner of the poetry competition is Mr. Garrick Baptiste, and he is joining us virtually this morning. Good morning, Mr. Baptiste. Congratulations on being the winner of the poetry competition.
Good morning, Blossom. Good morning, Mr. Ambrose. And good morning to all of you.
Thank you very much. There were 3 winners. Yes, the top 3. Mr. Garrick, of course, Mr. Baptiste was the winner, and the other members of the top 3 are Makeda Richards and Annie Mel, aka Melanie Antwine. Those are our 3 winners. And we have some books here, of course, written and published by Mr. Ambrose at that time in Bogles, and they will be distributed to the top 3 finishers, as well as Mr. Baptiste will get himself a $100 shopping voucher. I am trying to figure out from where or whence the shopping voucher will be from, but at least you'll be getting a $100 shopping voucher, and as soon as I know to shop where, I would let you know. So once again, congratulations, Mr. Baptiste, and thank you for joining us this morning. Mr. Ambrose, let's talk about the little poetry competition. When it started, to me, it was, just a little fun thing, but as I started to see the pieces that our viewers and our fans have been writing, I was impressed. What did you think of the poetry pieces that you were privy to?
Yeah, I was also impressed, and the judges didn't find it easy to come up with the top three and eventually the winner. I think it was quite close, the top three people or the top three positions, and in the end, because we had to go all the way into the criteria. There was some specific criteria that the organizers wanted the participants to follow, and so it came down to those criteria. And when it comes to poetry and things like that, you have things like your titles, and in this case, I think it was four lines, or a specific number of lines. Even though some people had great pieces, but either they didn't have a title or they didn't have that specific number of lines, too long, not long enough, usually too long. There were pictures with birds, so they misidentified the birds perhaps. So all of that had to be taken into consideration when we looked at the three winners, or the top three, the top five in this case, breaking it down to the winner.
Mr. Baptiste, tell me about the process for you writing your piece of poetry. How did you come up with it? Is this something that came easy to you? Are you a usual poetry writer, a usual poet?
Well, not really in recent times, but I used to, enjoy writing it one time being in school. I've been a teacher for a while now, so helping students along. It actually, what happened? Usually when I get up in the evening, I try to catch up on the news, and so that evening I went to church, and so I missed the news. So the following morning, I was sitting at my desk. I just decided to sort of catch up on the news headlines. I saw those two pictures. That's the first thing, and then I read the caption. And I think from that time to, it took about 4 minutes, actually. I didn't really put much thought into this. Looking at this now, maybe, I should have, give it a little more thought, But yeah, it just sort of come. I think the only thing I did after is go back and sort of fit the title into it, because that part came after. But I just saw the pictures, just sort of, a little bit eye-catching to me. And then I read the captions on the post, and I just, within about 3 or 5 minutes thereabout, I just put it together.
And thank you very much, Timothy, just in time. The name of the piece, that was one of the finalists that we featured during Good Morning. I think it was last week. This one was called Birds of Prey by Mr. Baptiste, and it went: graceful, elegant is the way he imagined me. Majestic, imposing, it what I was meant to be. Searching, fishing is very much my day. With such perks of creation, who would think that I am a bird of prey? Was bird of prey the first thing that came to mind when you saw the pictures?
It was. It was. Yeah, actually, it was. So when I get back, I thought maybe actually it sounded a little familiar, maybe a little too sort of straightforward, and that's when I added the part at the front. But that's the first thought that came to mind, actually.
So you said if you had put a little more thought into it, it would have been different. How you think it would have been different? For all you know, different may have made you miss the top spot,
Well, it's possible. But I didn't really put much thought into it. So maybe I would have, done something very differently, because I didn't really edit it, which is one of the comments that was made on, on my post by one of the judges. In terms of using the capital letters referring to God, so which is something I'm very much aware of, so again, maybe that's one of the evidence that maybe I didn't really put much thought into it.
So seeing the magical piece you wrote in 5 minutes, being the winner, is this an encouragement to you, Mr. Baptiste, to maybe take poetry writing a little bit more seriously?
I guess what happened, because the day after, some of my coworkers and even some of my students were talking about it, and then I realized it was too late to put it down. I didn't really, wasn't envisioning all of this. I just did it, I'm not even sure why. Yeah, but I guess maybe because I have written, a book. I didn't really publish it much some time ago. It's on baptism, as a Christian literature, yeah, and it's something I've been thinking about doing some editing and doing some actual publishing. So I do quite a bit of writing. I write for my students, So, but I don't do much publishing and so.
Well, maybe this should be a motivation to get that book published and join our elite list of authors in Grenada. Maybe that's the time to do it.
I agree.
Mr. Baptiste, I'd like to thank you so very much for participating in the competition, for being with us here this morning. Of course, you can collect your voucher and your book here at the GBN anytime you're ready. They're available today. Yes, today's Friday. Yes, they're available today, so feel free to stop by and collect anytime you're ready. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you so very much. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, and congrats to Mr. Baptiste. Mr. Ambrose, let me get back to you. Mr. Baptiste, you're right. Mr. Ambrose, let me get back to you. Your books, how can fans, people who are interested in reading, how can we get a hold of any of your publications?
For readers abroad, my books are available on Amazon, so Amazon.com. White Spice is available only in paperback for the time being, but the other two, That Time in Vogels and Zone 1, are available on Amazon as Kindle and also as paperback. So you can go on to Amazon and find those three books. In fact, if you check my website, deambrose.net, there's a button that will take you directly, or there are buttons that take you directly to the pages, the Amazon pages, where you could find those books. So that's if you live abroad, or if you live in Grenada as well, and you want to get into the Kindle. But here in Grenada, you could get my books from me. You could get copies at Art and Spice Creation in the Esplanade Mall in St. George's, or whenever we have these pop-up book events. The next pop-up event is on July 3rd at the Camohon Park from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So come down to Camohon Park and you get to meet. I'll be there, of course. These pop-up events are organized by myself and by Ron and Klein. Ron is also an author, so he'll be there. And a lot of other authors will be there as well. Earl Samuel will be there, Rita Olivetti, and Roger Bayer said he'll probably be there. So there'll be authors, Canadian authors there, and if they're not there, sometimes they would send their books. So that's how cooperative or collaborative we are. Even if somebody can't make it, we still have the books on site. Like right now, I'm holding books for Amanda Jack, who's in Caracou, and even Karen Steele or Karen Stead. And she has a romantic thriller. So even in Grenada, people write romance. Hey, Dr. Wendy Crawford has a romance. Gilling Island Passion. So it's not just about culture and crime and all sorts of genres, inspiration, romance, all kind of things.
I like that, and I think that's why I miss the Anti-Tech Literary Festival. One of the things I miss hearing from all of our, or at least most of our authors. Hopefully COVID-19 would go about his or her business, and 2022 we can get back to that festival, because as a reader I miss the festival. It was a great way to see our authors, meet our authors, hear from our authors. So I'm hoping 2022. So
we have to have something.
I agree. So next for Mr. Ambrose is White Spice Part 2. So maybe what, Purple Spice? What's the next spice? Purple Cinema?
Spice. Interesting. Stick with the colors. Okay.
So hopefully by end of 2021. Hint, hint, nudge.
Yes. I see. Yeah.
Good. Well, Mr. Ambrose, thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to share with our viewers, listeners?
Thank you for having me. And a lot of people have been checking me and saying, hey, they have things on file to write or to publish and so on. It's not too hard to publish. If you want to write as well, just write. In fact, there are a lot of writers who just write the stuff and other people do the editing and so on. So even if you think my English is not good enough or my writing style is not good enough, you could write a story and work with somebody else to have that person edit with you or for you and do the revision and make it look presentable and so on. So writing is not just for people who are professions, I say professions, who are people like teachers and professors, and coincidentally Mr. Baptiste is a teacher. So that doesn't mean that only teachers are writers. only educators are writers. A lot of people are writers who are in other professions, who are in many different professions. So anybody, and children could also write. Somebody called me up sometime last month and said his son has published a book, and he's in primary school. So even children could write. By the way, we don't have many children's books or children's authors. People are always asking when they come to me, come up to our booths, do you have any books for children? And so we look at each other. No, unfortunately, we don't have any. And they might provide the age of the child, and we might look at movies and say, all right, that one could work for 11, 12-year-olds. But if you have a story for children, it'd be a good idea to publish it.
I would like to thank you so very much, Mr. Ambrose, for being our guest. Continue doing what you're doing. I haven't read A Time in Bogles as yet. I've read White Spice, and I have to get my hand on the short story. Remind me the name of it again? Zone 1.
Zone 1.
I have to get my hand on a Zone 1, but I'm going to read That Time in Bogles before Mr. Baptiste comes for his book. I am going to read, or should I say finish reading That Time in Bogles. So thank you very much, Mr. Ambrose. Looking forward to more publications from you. Appreciate it very. Gracias.
Thank you for having me. De nada. Hasta luego. Until next time.
Hasta luego. Hasta mañana. Oh gosh, I love the thing coming back.
Remember, yes.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday and continue doing what you're doing. Have a good one.
All the best. Bye-bye, everyone. Yeah.
Local author and a Spanish teacher, my former Spanish teacher, Mr. David Ambrose. We thank him so very much for being our guest. I was hoping to be able to read the poems of the top three finishers, but in the interest of time, I would not be able to do so. But what I would do is put a little piece together, a little video featuring those three poems, and we will play it on GBN, on Classic, and other platforms, so that you can see who those three winners are and you can have an idea of the poetry that they put together. So once again, congratulations to the winners, Mr. Garrick Baptiste, Makeda Richards, Melanie Antoine, aka Annie Mel. They are winners of That Time in Bogles, written by Mr. David Ambrose, and Mr. Baptiste, as the top finisher, will get a $100 shopping voucher. So congrats once again to the top three, and thank you very much for tuning in. Let's now join the BBC for its 8 a.m. newscast. Is just 4 minutes past 8. So when we join them at 5 minutes past 8, don't worry, you're not missing anything. You'll get all the information that was in that 5-minute time slot. You'll get all the information from 8:05. Thanks. I'm grateful for the way BBC does their thing over there, that we don't miss anything. So enjoy the rest of your Friday. It's Open Line Friday on To The Point at 9 o'clock. Until then, continue to stay safe and have yourselves a fantalocious day.